Hey, it's Jane. Thank you for joining me for this reading in February 2026. Because Valentine's Day falls in February, my theme for this month is relationships. And for the first half of the month, we'll talk about relationships with other people. It might be romantic relationships, or it could be friends, family, coworkers, somebody you bump into in the grocery store, anybody. Later on in the month, we'll talk about relationships with ourselves. But this one is relationships with others. So I asked the angels to let me know what the energies of these first couple weeks in February would be. The first card they gave us is the Dreamer. Now, this is the first card in the major arcana, and it talks about beginnings. It talks about taking leaps of faith. It talks about new opportunities. And so, in terms of relationship with others, that might mean a new start of a relationship with somebody new. It could be a fresh start in a current relationship that you have. Maybe there was some difficulties or a little fallout, but you can take a leap of faith and get that relationship back on track. Um, but it says to push your fears aside, right? There are sunny skies, blue skies ahead. The second card is, oh, I can't pick it up, the Empress. Now, this is a card of action. This is someone who has made plans or has something in mind and then takes action to make it happen. So you combine that with a dreamer and you have a new opportunity. You have a time to take a leap of faith, but it's time to actually take it. Take that leap of faith. Don't just think about it. Take it. It's a time of great creativity. If maybe um, you're working with someone on a project, or you're asking someone for help with to help you with something. If you're trying to launch a new facet of business, this is a good card because it's a good time for creative actions and being creative in what you're doing. Maybe be creative in how you give your relationships a fresh start, right? It's also a card, you see how she's holding this unicorn so gently and lovingly. It talks of nurturing. So in taking action, we remember to nurture our relationships with others, to maybe nurture them a little more than maybe we have been, right? So then the next card I got seemed kind of unusual at the start, but then it made sense. It is the Ace of Earth. And I think we had this last month too, right? So that energy is carrying forward with us into February, which is kind of what happens if we're aware of energy flows. But this is a card of great abundance. It's usually a card of learning and being curious and education. So I'm thinking in this context what this card is saying, and I'm feeling from the information the angels are giving me that the education that we need is to think about how best to nurture and grow our relationships, and that there will be great abundance of um, of people, yeah, and a great abundance of success if we take a more nurturing approach. Um, and so because this was a little confusing to me, I asked for a clarifier card, and what I got was Page of Water. And remember, water is the suit of emotions. Now, doesn't that make sense when we're talking about relationships? Because there are often lots of emotions, from happiness and joy and gratitude. There could be sadness and anger and frustration, right? Because it's never just all positive. It just is not always rainbows and unicorns, right? But what this is saying is the cup is overflowing. So there are a lot of good relationships. The page is um, is youthful in terms of being innocent and naive, right? So the card actually says there could be romantic encounters, social invitations, um, but it's someone who speaks from the heart, right? So when we are thinking about and in our relationships with others, communicate from the heart. Now, to underscore all of this, the flower that I chose, which will be absolutely no surprise given that Valentine's Day is in February, is the red rose. Red being the color of passion and love, right? And the rose being a traditional flower that, quite frankly, is very expensive around Valentine's Day, right? Prices go way high, supply and demand. But it's a flower that is absolutely beautiful. It's delicate, it's fragile, and yet it's on a very firm stalk, right? It doesn't flap over usually. It will lean towards the sun as this one kind of is doing, but they don't flap over like peonies, for instance. They have very thin stems and they tend to flap. So, so love can be strong. Love often requires us to be strong at certain times. Um, but it's a firm foundation. If you think about a parent's love for a child and raising a child, we want to give them a firm foundation and let them open up and explore the world. Well, if we look at that beautiful opened up rose, I mean, isn't that just lovely? That's just lovely. But what this is saying, and when I'm encouraging you to think about the red rose and work with that energy, is that in taking a leap of faith and welcoming open communication and creativity, maybe creativity and finding fun things to do together or something like that. Um, think about the rose opening up as opening your heart, because the energy of the red rose opens our heart to love, to give, and to receive, allows us to be more vulnerable with those who are close to us, closest to us. And as we deepen our friendships with people, to open up and be more vulnerable with them. So this is all encouraging, right? We can make our relationships truly wonderful and truly supportive in these next couple of weeks. And that's it. So until next time, I will say thank you. If you would like a personal reading where I can talk more specifically about relationships, you can log on to my website, janezisk.com, and book a reading. And until then, I'll say have a wonderful beginning of February and do remember the red rose.